if you are good on Lux right now on this patch with the new support item, oh baby is it strong, oh baby is it good to carry games, because you get 1000 gold in the early game for free basically. On top right now you have more gold than beforehand, so supports basically have better gold income because of the new support items. That means you get the Ludon's Echo quicker, you can carry games harder. Hey, what's up guys, Darkbreaker here and welcome to my patch 3.4 tier list. I've been spamming the new patch like a maniac and I think I have a good grasp about the current meta, what's changed, and we have some spicy stuff coming up in this tier list. We have new champions Gwen and Yoni coming next week as well. Then we have the new AP items. We have Cosmic Drive, we have the Riftmaker. Then we have the new support items, which are beyond broken, guys, because you can stack as ADC and support. Both players can get the support item, and in total you will get more gold right now. And the new sickle item is also really amazing for AP supports. So a lot of interesting stuff coming up. And if you guys enjoyed this tier list, then definitely make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you guys don't miss out on future content. And there is so much coming out on this new patch. So we have Shyvana being cracked, we have so many AP champions with Riftmaker or Cosmic Drive that are becoming better as well. And then so much support variety with the new support items. So definitely make sure that you don't miss out on those future videos. And by the way, before we're starting, let me explain this tier list. They are not in order, like between each rank. If you guys see, okay, Gwen is over Camille. It doesn't mean Gwen is better than Camille, by the way. It's not in a ranked order. And then secondly, the stars mean that the champion got either changed or they moved up between my my tier list. And then a third point is it's my subjective opinion, what I think is good in this meta. I mean, hey, you can listen to a legend player, challenger player, about his opinion, and then just orientate yourself about my picks. Like, you can make shitty K work if you guys want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. You can make anything work if you are a master of the champion. Don't be scared of someone who is abusing a meta champion. Be scared of the one-trick pony that practices. Well, what was the quote again? Practice one kick 1000 times. It's the same thing applies to champions as well. Lesson learned. Okay, but let's get started with the Baron lane tier list. So we have the new champion Gwen, and I think she is absolutely amazing in the Baron lane. She's from the playstyle she's very similar to Fiora, but she's more AP. And one thing is, okay, you have insane amount of sustain with the Riftmaker, with your first ability. And fun fact, did you guys know? The first ability, the true damage of the first ability, is 50% on PC, but in wildrift it's 100%. So you don't need void staff. She will have so much percentage damage and true damage. So she's amazing against tanky champions. Basically the anti-tank champion in AP form. Fiora would be the anti-tank form, anti-tank champion in AD form. One issue is definitely that her stats are kind of low in terms of like HP and armor, but I think if you just get like some tanky items like the Banshee's Veil, or maybe just go for the Reflector as well, that makes you tanky enough that you are really strong. Like, she's an amazing duelist, super safe as well. I think people just need to master her. I think in 2-3 weeks we will see the real potential of Gwen, but in my opinion right now, from the traits, when I was playing her, she seems really good. I think the only hard matchup she has is maybe Fiora, Jax, and Jace, because Fiora obviously also has true damage, and she scales even harder than Gwen, I would say. I was actually thinking about the Hardbreaker Gwen build, just because it makes your split pushing and your dual power really good, and it gives you amazing stats. I'm actually thinking about a Hardbreaker build, and I've seen someone write in the comments to me, you should try out what was it? What's 9 minute? Oh, what's the item name? CB. What's the item? Quick, no. Charge Blade. Dude, I'm a boomer, Alzheimer. Charge Blade, crit Gwen. Because you get ability haste, crit rate, and attack speed. But you don't have AP from that. But you have the like magical crit then. Which is pretty cool. For clickbait, we could try it. But I actually think potentially Hullbreaker can be very good if you're facing against a Sandra champion like a Fiora, if you against a Camille, against a Jax. I feel like Hullbreaker could be the solution on how to make Gwen work against Sandra Hullbreaker champions. Because if you play against tank champions, go for the stamina build, but let's say if you play against those champions that are very strong in the 1v1 duel, I think Hullbreaker might be the way for Gwen to be absolutely strong, really strong. Because unlike PC, her base stats or her HP, her armor and magic resistance aren't as good, but she has way more damage already. So you get tons of HP, the AD is kinda shit, and then you get the resistance. Resistance and minion. The minions are empowered, that's a big thing that makes Hullbreaker so good for split pushers. Okay, let's move on. There was a big talk about Gwen, but I mean, new champion, I'm gonna try to explain her. Next one is gonna be Camille. I think Camille with Conqueror and... Okay, let's talk about the Conqueror changes. I'm explaining it right now, so I don't need to explain it for the other champions. So what they did right now is when you have 6 stacks, you get Omnivamp right now. So how does Omnivamp work? Basically, you are getting sustained from any sort of damage you're doing. Whether it be auto attacks, physical damage, magical damage, true damage, or ability damage. Omnivamp. So, how does that benefit both Camille and Fiora? Camille has the first ability, that does true damage, right? In combination with Sandra, giving you tons of sustain. And now, with Omnivamp from Conqueror, you will get sustain from the true damage of Camille's first ability. The same applies for Fiora's Vitals. Fiora's Vitals are gonna heal you even more right now. Whenever you're hitting someone with a Vital, you're doing true damage, right? So you are gonna heal for the true damage that you're doing. So if you have Conqueror and you're against a tanky champion, every time you hit someone with your first ability or your auto attacks onto the Vital, you will heal a shit ton. So this is actually cracked, and I've played Fiora against Sneaky, the rank 1 player, and I can just tell her scaling is absolutely busted. And like, she is already one of the best early game champions, but she's also one of the best scaling late game champions as a duelist. This is a crazy change, and don't pick any tanks against Fiora, because this bitch is gonna shit on you. So both Camille and Fiora are moving up in my opinion, just because of the Conqueror changes, making them insane duelist late game monsters. Next one is gonna be Gragas. Gragas with Cosmic Drive is crazy, guys. I've tried the new build. It's gonna be Road of Age, Cosmic Drive, Iceborne Gauntlet, then you can get whatever you want, Abyssal Mask, Sunfire. You're just spamming your abilities non-stop, and you get 30 ability haste from Cosmic Drive, plus additional movement speed whenever you immobilize a champion, right? Was it immobilize or just damaging them? But you get so much movement speed. And 30 ability haste. Like, remember, we built Fimbulwinter beforehand, but Cosmic Drive is the better version. It gives you 30 ability haste and tons of AP and movement speed, which is crazy, because you don't have to stack it up. This is super good. If you don't play against a Sandra champion, a Sandra champion kinda tricky, but still, if you play against any other matchup, it's so free and you're scaling like a truck. Your teamfight potential as a tanky Gragas, you do so much damage, you are tanky, and you can spam your abilities over and over, crowd control, crowd control city. Third ability, ultimate, third ability, ultimate, third ability, ultimate, etc. The ultimate is like 20 seconds only. Next one, Wukong. Wukong still very solid laner. He has the ultimate in teamfights, obviously. Then Jace, one of the most bullying laners. This champion is one of the best laners in the early game in the Baron lane. Demolishes almost every matchup, and then he is very strong with the Heartbreaker in the 1v1 duel power, and then he has also a lot of poking damage in teamfights. Renekton overall very good. This guy is just crazy. Very strong laning phase, good in teamfights as well, and decent duelist. Riven, one of the strongest duelists, insane mobility and tons of damage. Set got buffed. The AD ratio on the second ability got buffed. Makes his 1v1 even better, and also his team fights. He's in general a very strong juggernaut, tons of pro control, very tanky in team fights as well, and a great duelist. Now we have Akali. Akali is... I'm just thinking. I'm thinking right now, Gragas and Akali. Nah, Gragas, I still think Gragas has the more consistency over Akali. Akali got buffed with the riftmaker and the conqueror changes, making her laning phase much safer and better against a lot of harder matchups. The downside is she still has a lot of bad matchups. And her early game is not that good. But yeah, these changes and the buff they gave to Akali make her much better now. I had the A tier and I moved her to S tier already. A strong S tier. I don't feel like she has the consistency in the Baron lane. I feel like in the mid lane she's much better than in the Baron lane. Because you will struggle against split pushing champions with Wildrift, because you can't hold them later on. Or it's gonna be hard to deal with them. Next one is gonna be Kassadin. Kassadin, still one of the best champions, especially in the mid lane. But in the Baron lane, he's also solid. Like, the rank 1 player sneaky. He's abusing Kassadin Baron lane because he knows in the late game Kassadin is super beast, and his laning phase is also pretty solid with the fleet footwork. Just farm up, and then late game you're just outscaling, doing tons of damage. Diana with Riftmaker, also becoming pretty good in the Baron lane. Not only mid lane, also Baron lane and jungle. I think Diana is a hot pick right now. Is really, really good. But she still has a lot of hard matchups and she will get outscaled. She's very good in team fights, so therefore I just put her into S tier. Because I feel like in S plus tier you need to be able to dominate or do really well against every matchup, or almost every matchup, and you need to have the consistency. Sion got nerfed, but I don't think he's gonna move down. He's still S tier, very strong laner, super solid, good in team fights, but his split pushing playstyle kinda unreliable in solo queue because people will just flip. Next one is gonna be Jax. I still think Jax is a pretty strong split pusher. I'm thinking if I should put an S plus. His early game is kinda weak. And his team fight is... I mean, I did put Fiora as plus tier, and he also benefits from the conqueror changes, right? But his early game... He struggles against a lot of matchups in the early game. Let's just say a strong... a strong S tier, between S plus and S tier. I think that's a fair position. I mean, one of the best scaling champions in the game, insane split pusher. Now Garen is super consistent, Baron laner, tanky, beginner friendly. Malphite, I think the biggest issue about Malphite will be a lot of Gwen players. Gwen counters Malphite. She does AP damage and true damage. What can Malphite do? Like, literally the existence of Gwen is nerfing Malphite. But obviously Malphite is still a strong Baron laner, great in team fights, decent in the laning phase, but he gets outscaled in the 1v1. Aurelia, Conqueror changes also buff her, to be fair, but I mean, all Conqueror changes are buffing the other champions as well, so still struggles against a lot of matchups. Shen, decent duelist, I would say. He has the advantage that he's a good team fighting champion, and he has the global ultimate to join. Then Darius. I actually decided to move down Darius. Wait, I forgot to put the star. Why did I move down Darius? Wait, I should use presentation modes or not? Nah, it doesn't matter. Why did I move down Darius? I feel like in this current meta, there are only a few comps where he can work, because there's so many kiting and poking team comps, and Darius will struggle to get kited. Like, this guy will get kited, and also now with the mandate as well. I feel like the meta is changing towards a lot of like AP supports or poking supports with a lot of crowd control, and this makes it hard for Darius. Pantheon super cheesy early game but falls off behind. Teemo with Riftmaker or Cosmic Drive, I think he can be pretty decent, but in my opinion still A tier because his early is good, but then his mid game is shit, and then in the late game is decent again. But I feel like he struggles against a lot of matchups and he's easy to punish. Nas's playstyle... Nah, I'm gonna put him B tier. Nautilus tanky. Nautilus is pretty tanky and overall good in teamfights. Mundo is also pretty tanky, decent duelist. Doesn't provide too much in teamfights though, just a meat shield. Jarvan, tanky, great crowd control in teamfights, decent in the laning phase. Akshan, great counter against a lot of melee matchups, but he's very easy to punish. Cannon, overall pretty solid, good team fighting, strong early game. Olaf, pretty situational, he can be good against tanky team comps or against team comps that rely on crowd control. Tryndamere, early game pretty weak, but he has really good scaling. And he struggles against a lot of matchups, to be fair. Nasus, the reason why I move him down is his playstyle is just not good in solo queue. I really don't like this champion. He's just an AFK farming minion, and then if you have the lucky chance that you're not getting gapped by a shit ton amount of champions that can bully him in the early game, maybe you will be good enough to join teamfights and have enough stacks and then be useful, but most of the times you don't get to that point. Same applies for Graves. Literally the same applies for Graves. Graves is just a split pushing AFK minion with no value in teamfights. It's really not that good right now. Like, Fiora is just so much better in everything. Early game much better. Then she's a great duelist and she is much better in teamfights as well. And I think it's easier to pull her off than a Grace. I think Grace is harder to use. Singed. I think Singed Cosmic Drive could be really cool, by the way. I need to try it out. But he still struggles in the early game. Very weak early game, but insane scaling. Good in teamfights though. Vayne Illusion, super situational, but very easy to counter and to punish. Same applies for Kayle. I tried Kayle, guys. Kayle got nerfed and I was like, Riftmaker Kayle, let's try it out. But this champion's still the same. It's dog shit. She is so squishy. She's even weaker in the early game right now. Nah, would I say? Nah, actually, wow, you have like a little bit more healing right now. Whoa, thank you very much. But her late game is weaker. The thing is, she's so easy to punish and to dive. Way too easy to punish and to dive. She's just too weak. I played her, I got dove 3 times, 1 vs 3. Enjoyable. This champion is just too weak. But yeah, let's move on to the jungle tier list. Okay, Shyvana got buffed and Shyvana is even better than beforehand. Because now, when you have 400 stacks, you get Omnivamp. So you have Conqueror, which gives you Omnivamp, and the Ultimate, which gives you Omnivamp. So the amount of sustain you now have whenever you use an ability is crazy. So Shyvana S+ tier. Wukong, like nothing changed here. It's still the same like last time. Wukong, amazing team fighting champion. Super good. Olaf, amazing 1 vs 9 champion that can ignore crowd control. Riven, tons of damage, tons of mobility. Echo, one of the best scaling champions. Insane late game, 1 vs 9 just carries on his own once he has like 2-3 items. Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, still insanely good solo queue champions that are crazy at snowballing the game on their own. If you are a good Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, you can carry through from bronze to challenger completely on your own 1 vs 9 if you're good on them. Gwen, I think Gwen is S tier, not S+ tier, and the main reasoning is she is very similar to Shyvana, that she isn't the greatest ganker and she needs items. She needs to focus on farming. Once she has farm, she can be really good and she's really strong in teamfights then, but her early game is really not that good. I'm saying really not that good, but I'm just comparing to S+ tier champions. It's solid. It's fine. Gragas didn't change. It's still the same. Very strong AP jungler. Morgana, also very strong AP jungler. insane jungle clear speed and great kiting poking potential. Xin Shao, a great duelist, good in teamfights, super tanky. Jarvan, very good ganks, super tanky in teamfights, a lot of crowd control. Nunu, very similar to Lee Sin, a spam ganker. That provides, like, he can just gank left and right. He's super tanky and provides crowd control in teamfights. Evelynn with her invisibility is really good. Spam ganking left and right. But in my opinion, it's just S tier. I feel like I see people put an S plus tier, but I can see the point. But I don't see that many good Evelynn players. It's not easy to make Evelynn work. It's not easy because she's also very squishy. It's really not too like the good one-trick ponies can make her look like S plus tier, but then you have so many shitty Evelynn players because it's hard to pull her off. That's why I'm just putting her S tier. And there are counters to her. There are counters. Because she doesn't have mobility. The only mobility she has is her ultimate. While Lee Sin has tons of mobility. Like, these assassins just have more mobility and survivability than Evelynn. Vi, solid jungler, decent, pretty good jungle clear speed, good ganks, overall good in teamfights as well, but single target. Aurelia also strong assassin in the jungle, doing tons of damage and great in teamfights. Same applies for Jace. He is overall a strong brawler, not the greatest. I mean, he has decent ganks, but he has tons of damage in teamfights and in skirmishes. Diana. I'm putting Diana S tier with the new riftmaker. She seems so strong. Road of Age, riftmaker, death cap, infinity orb, void's death, just hard carrying games on your own. Super strong. Camille A tier. I feel like this champion is just not too slow tempo. I feel like her tempo is not that good right now. You can make her work, she's still solid thanks to her ganks with the ultimate, but she's really slow tempo in comparison. If you play against a high tempo jungler, you will fall behind in terms of, like, that guy ganked the map already 3 times while you're still farming. Pantheon, strong early game champion, high tempo, but falls off like a truck. Graves also really slow tempo, like Camille, doesn't have good ganks, but he scales like a truck. Renekton overall, yeah, he has decent ganks, he has a stun as well, super tanky, tons of damage. I think he's A tier, he's pretty solid. Nautilus jungle, tons of crowd control. Wait, why did I have the star here? Oh, he got changed. Oh, I'm gonna move Fiora to S tier. Fiora with Conqueror, I've tried a few times in the jungle, seems really strong. I think mainly because she has so much damage and is such a great duelist. You can snowball the game so easily. Nautilus provides a lot of value in terms of crowd control in teamfights. Same applies for Sion. Yes, they nerfed the fact that stacking onto camps will give you less HP now, but overall your jungle clear speed is still okay and you provide a lot of value in teamfights, being such a good meat shield. Same applies for Set, by the way. He has better ganks, he is really tanky and has good crowd control. Rengar is decent snowballing champion, good assassination power, needs to snowball super hard though. Fizz early game, not the greatest, but he scales like a truck and he becomes really good. 1 vs 9 assassin. Darius is still solid in my opinion. Jungle clear speed is okay, his ganks are okay as well, and his team fighting can be really devastating when you get the reset. Next one, Rammus. I think Rammus is pretty good in terms of ganking, provides a lot of value in teamfights as well. Biggest issue is your farming potential as a jungler, and Rammus struggles. If you don't snowball and if you don't get items early, your jungle clear speed is super bad. Jack's jungle is still okay, the jungle clear speed is not that good in the early game, and his ganks are decent. The thing is though, he is an amazing 1 vs 9 champion in solo queue. Next one, Master Yi. Master Yi is super snowbally champion. It's a coin flip. It's a coin flip champion. Either you're really good in the game because you get a few kills early, or you're super bad. I think in low elo he's absolutely crazy, but in high elo he's not that good. Singe, a cheesy jungle pick. I honestly think it's not that bad. Jungle play speed kind of scuffed, but his ganks are crazy and his late game scaling is also crazy. Then Shen, also jungle play speed not that good. Ganks are okay, but he falls off super hard and his farming potential is super bad. Next one, Amumu. Amumu's jungle play speed is okay and his teamfight is really good with the ultimate, but there are a lot of ways to punish him and he's really weak in the early game. Tryndamere is super weak in the early game. Wait, I'm gonna just remove Samira. Don't throw it. Don't throw this. Tryndamere, early game super weak, but his late game scaling is really good. And if you get like 3 core items, he can become really strong. Next one, mid lane. So the pick in the mid lane that I think benefited the most is Akali. Akali riftmaker with infinity up, super strong right now. I think it's broken. Kassadin, Diana also with riftmaker, really strong. Same for Katarina. These 4 champions now with riftmaker. I mean, Kassadin is kind of not like it's not a core item necessary. You're just getting it for the fun. But Akali, Diana, and Katarina definitely benefit from the new item, Riftmaker, making them so much stronger, giving them Omnivamp, and with the Kong changes, you have so much sustain as well. So for Akali, it's either Conqueror or Fleet Footwork. Yeah, great assassin. Kassadin also broken as fuck late game. Way too solid, too much mobility. Diana in team fights is so strong. You guys will see a gameplay very soon. I literally hard carried on Diana 1 vs 9. Like, literally a 1 vs 9. I had like 5 times the damage of my Caitlyn. Next one's Caitlyn. Come on, people in the chat, you guys know it. 1 reset to shit on them all. Katarina gets 1 reset and you just win the game. I always say the same. And it's always the truth. It's still the truth. Katarina also with the Riftmaker. I'm gonna try to make a video on her. So strong, man. It's crazy. And Infinity of Changes as well. Ahri, still one of the best assassins in the game. Really good mobility as well. I think a good Ahri landing her charm is so good. Aurelia, very strong assassin. Insane playmaking potential. High skill ceiling. Good carry potential in teamfights as well. Karma also really strong right now. Amazing poking potential and teamfight utility, and the ultimate is obviously super strong. I think you could run Mandate on her, or maybe even a Cosmic Drive and make it work. We'll see. But she's still broken. Yasuo got buffed. He is a strong S tier in my opinion. In the right hands, he could be S+ tier, but I rather put him S tier because there are too many burger flippers that don't know how to play Yasuo and are just gonna run you down, even though he's really good if you know how to play him. His brother, Yoni, is coming out soon, by the way, next week. And I think Yoni is gonna be... I think he's gonna be S tier in the mid lane, and between S or S+ tier in the Baron lane. And then jungle, probably. Jungle clear speed is okay, ganking is fine. I think S tier. Jungle S tier, Baron lane S or S+, mid lane probably S tier, maybe S+. I think probably S tier. From the way I've seen him, he will struggle against a lot of long range matchups. But I need to see how strong he scales. I need to see the scaling. He might be S+. He's probably minimum S tier mid lane. I think for all 3 lanes he will be minimum S tier. And then the question is, how good does he scale? How good is his team fighting? And then we will see if he can be S+ tier. But the thing about his ganks are... he doesn't have the greatest ganks. His E is pretty good though to keep chasing or diving. You dive and then you port back. It's not bad. Jungle play speed is also not that bad. It's probably gonna be similar to Gwen. It's probably S tier. Baron lane. I was told he's probably the best in the Baron lane in terms of jungle mid or Baron lane. I was talking to random. He said he probably works the best on Baron lane, like on PC. Next one, Gragas. Still super strong mid laner, super solid, good damage. Corki, same, good mobility, good damage. Pyke, tons of roaming. Yeah, Pyke snowballing, roaming gods, can snowball, gank left and right, pretty good. Galio, tons of poking damage, great team fighting, and very good against magic compositions. Akshan, one of the best laning phase, scales like a truck and has a lot of mobility as well. Fizz, also very strong right now. Like with the infinity of changes, his burst potential is crazy. Like his early game might not be the greatest, but his scaling when you have a few items, he can carry games on his own, just one-shotting people left and right. Oh, dude, my nose, man. Sorry. Scuffed. Yikes. Next one is gonna be Jace, still the same. Strong laning phase, strong poking champion. Orianna and Ziggs are strong poking champions as well in teamfights. Really good damage. Singe still pretty solid in the mid lane as well. Good roaming factor, and then some nice playmaking, catching people, and really strong scaling in teamfights as well. Vega didn't get changed. I'm gonna move him down. I have to move him down. Do you guys know why I moved down Vega? There are so many Vega players that are just AFK farming, never rotating. They are just hugging the turret, doing nothing the whole game. While having mid prio or having someone that roams in the mid lane is so important. I don't like the way people play Vega. I think Vega can be very good in a front to back combo playstyle, I mean. But people don't know how to play Vega, and it's pissing me off. The amount of Vegas that are just literally, they are AFK for 10 minutes, doing nothing. Just AFK farming. Literally no benefit from them. Okay, and then late game, you can be good in team fights. You have a lot of value with the horizon, event horizon. But most Vega players are just griefers, so I have to put him 8 here. Zed, strong assassin, great playmaking potential. Twisted Fate with the global ultimate, very good at snowballing. Lucian, very strong early game, strong in teamfights, insane scaling. Echo, early game kinda weak, but he is very good in teamfights. Brand, not the greatest early game, not the greatest roamer, but very strong in teamfights if you have frontline. Aurelion Sol, hard to play, weak in the early game, but great roaming potential and strong team fighting. If you can crash the star onto them, you can stun them all. Annie, early game kinda weak, bad roaming, but insane teamfight playmaking potential with the ultimate. Garen overall very solid laner. Morgana, weak in the early game. Yes, she is weak in the early game, bad wave clear in the early game, can be pretty good in the late game with her poking and with the ultimate. Pantheon, early game very strong, but falls off like a truck. Can be very good like roaming with the ultimate, ganking left and right. Cannon is solid, good in teamfights. Lux also pretty solid, has the bind to catch people, and with the ultimate you have a lot of damage as well. Seraphine, weak in the early game, bad roaming, has the ultimate in teamfights, which can be pretty good. Kayle in the early game super weak, and they nerfed Kayle as well. Yes, you have riftmaker, but it doesn't make her much better. And then Ashe in the mid lane, some nice playmaking potential with the ultimates. Dude, I don't know what's with my nose, man. Okay, let's go to ADCs. I just wanna say, I called it. I knew Riot would buff Samira because there are so many Samira injures, even though this champion is broken. I asked Doom as well, and he said Samira is broken. Every ADC pro player is saying the same to me. Samira is broken. Okay, how many times did I play her? I've played her 5 times right now, 100% win rate. 1 time PvP, more than 20 kills. 2nd time in jungle, legendary, 15 kills or something. 3rd time against rank 1 player in a challenger match, pentakill. Next time, legendary again. And next time against pro players, also won the game and got legendary. I don't even play ADC, and I'm getting legendary on this champion. She is very similar to Katarina. Be patient, poke, poke, poke. One good timed ultimate, you win the game, you win the team fight, it's GG easy. She got base stats buffed. She got her first ability buffed. Hello? And the passive buff. Huge buff on Samira. And it's 100. If I know Samira, you need to be patient on how to play on team fights, because it's not that easy brain damage. You're just poking from far away, or you play Ezreal poke, 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 you dash away. Samira is not that easy to play in teamfights, yes, but if you know how to play in teamfights, if you're patient, if you know when to go in, she can be absolutely devastating. Yes, her early game is not the greatest, but it doesn't matter. Just play the lane safe, freeze the lane, freeze the wave. Vayne, high mobility, ADC, tons of damage, I hate her. Lucian, I hate him too. Too much damage, too much mobility. Ezreal, early game not the greatest, but once he has 3 items, tons of damage, tons of mobility. I hate him too. Saya, very safe. One of the safest ADCs that doesn't need a good support. Because she has self-peel, she has crowd control, the ultimate is very good, and it's very hard to kill her. She's also pretty hard to deal with when she's fat. So these champions are as plus tier. Caitlyn as well. I think she has one of the best early games, and overall very good consistency across the board. From early game, mid game and late game, she's very good because she has so much long range damage. Kai'Sa, tons of damage. She has shield, invisibility, the ultimate to jump and get the shield. Very good. Jinx, early game not that strong, but late game an absolute beast, especially once she gets some resets. Oh, Mr. Vex. By the way, Vex told me Gwen is broken. Vex told me Gwen is broken in the jungle. I gave him another build with Banshee and Reflector, because then you're more tanky. He's getting 18 kills in Challenger on her multiple times. But I still feel like her early game is pretty weak, so I'm just gonna put the S tier. Varus, a very strong, consistent poking ADC. Draven, insane snowballing ADC, one of the best early games. You can snowball on this champion super hard if you're good on him, but pretty hard to pull off. Corki over a strong package. Tristana, no star. Tristana, oh yeah, the star. They nerfed her. They nerfed the first ability. Early game, kind of weak, but late game can be a truck. Especially if you have like Lulu or something. Nasus! Why do I put Nasus here? It's a dual Q pick though. Nasus dual Q. If you play Nasus with Senna right now, it's very strong. Nasus plus Senna can be really strong right now because of the new support items. Both of you just get relic shield. And you get so much free value in terms of gold and HP. It's really, really good. Then Jhin got nerfed. No, Jhin got buffed, but it's an irrelevant buff. Early game, pretty good, but late game he falls off super hard. Misfortune, early game pretty good, but falls off in the late game as well. Ashe, I would say early game is okay-ish. She has a lot of playmaking with the Ashe arrows, but her late game damage is really non-existent. Karma, Lux, Orianna, Ziggs are strong poking mages. Actually, I was talking to Doom. If we would be talking about a competitive setup, they would be like S plus tier. But since we're talking about solo queue, just a strong A tier. Like overall, they're really good if you guys need AP damage in the bot lane and you have an AD mid laner. Brand Morgana are the weak versions that get outranged and are not as good. Like worse wave clear Morgana, for example, worse damage as well on Morgana, and Brand gets outranged and it's way easier to kill him. Senna actually, the thing is, this is Senna ADC, right? If you play Senna with Galio, etc., are you the ADC? You are the one who's not farming. Then you're the support, basically. Yeah. This is ADC Senna, where you are farming. And then later we're talking about fasting Senna, where you're not farming. And I think Senna is becoming really good now with the support items. I think she's okay as ADC, but as a support, she's really good right now. Really good, actually. Really, I think in competitive, she will be really, really, really fucking nutty. Let's go to supports, guys. Karma is still broken, but now the list changed. I moved on Yumi because she got a really big nerf, in my opinion. Karma is still absolutely broken. Poke, 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 shield, shield, shield. Movement speed, movement speed, movement speed, ultimate, 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 boom, boom, boom. That's Karma. And now you have Mandate as well. You have this new support item, which makes it even better. You get 1000 gold for free in the early game. And then you have Mandate as well. Every time you're poking someone, you will mark them. They will take damage. And if your other champion or ally hits them, you get movement speed. Your ally gets movement speed. And you proc the magic damage on top once more. Lux! Guys! I am a Lux enjoyer right now. I know I hate on Lux players. I still hate. I still think a lot of Lux players are bad. But if you are good on Lux right now on this patch with the new support item, oh baby, is it strong? Oh baby, is it good to carry games? Because you get 1000 gold in the early game for free, basically. On top right now, you have more gold than beforehand. So supports basically have better gold income because of the new support items. That means you get the Ludon's Echo quicker. You can carry games harder just because you have, like, this item gives you also so much value. It gives you so much value in terms of gold and in terms of stats. Then you have Mandate as well. I think the build is gonna be support item, Ludon's Echo, Mandate, Death Cap, Infinity Orb or Void Staff. And that's the build. I think a lot of AP supports are really good in solo queue right now, especially in lower ranks if you guys wanna carry games on your own. Guys, but please remember, try to pick these supports if you wanna play this playstyle. Either you pick it into a full poking team composition, then it's working, it's fine, or you have one frontline. But if you don't have a frontline, this might be a little bit scuffed. Yes, you can still carry games if you're playing this well, but if you don't have a frontline and you're playing an AP Lux, remember, your teammates also need a frontline. Because then you have, okay, you have a full AP support, you have an ADC, you have an assassin in the mid lane, you have an assassin in the jungle, and an assassin in the Baron lane. It's kind of scuffed, not gonna lie, right? So remember, pick accordingly to your team comp sometimes. I know in lower ranks it maybe doesn't matter, but in higher ranks, don't go for the Senna first pick full crit if you don't have a tank, for example. I think Senna, either if you have good frontline, works like a charm, or if you have or maybe wait, I put the Lux S. I don't want to promote Senna too much. I'm gonna keep her A tier. I think comp she will be like S or S plus tier, but I'm gonna keep her a little bit lower. Like, I think the comp value of Senna can be like S plus tier, but in normal is like maybe A tier. But where was I? Yeah, picking the champion into the right team comp is very important. Next one, Gregors, Rakan, Thresh, Alistar, Nautilus, in amazing tanky playmaking champions with a lot of value in team fights. You have the Relic Shield right now, giving you even more gold, so that's pretty nice. But I mean, all these support changes, they buff every support champion. It's not like, okay, only AP supports got buffed. A Relic Shield is also buffing all the other champions. And there are still amazing playmaking champions in solo queue. So S tier. Pyke, really amazing playmaking champion. And now with the, I guess you get Relic Shield on him, you get even more gold. Nami, great peeling champion with the bubble, with the ultimate, super good. Lulu, good enchanter, buffing people up. Especially with an Olaf, with a Vayne or something, very, very strong. Yumi got nerfed, so just S tier right now. Way less healing and no shield anymore. Oh wait, what was that with the shield? Wait, what was the passive again? Oh, no mana restoration, never mind, it's the shield. But they nerfed the shield value. They nerfed AP Yumi, basically. All the AP scalings got nerfed. And the healing is also not immediately anymore, but over time. Ashe! Ashe support is a new hot pick, by the way. Ashe, with Mandate. Just spamming the ultimates over and over. And the second ability, you can proc so much slow and the passive of Mandate. Senna support right now, with the relic items or with the sickle. Very, very good, especially if you play Senna with a Galio, Senna Nasus, Senna Gragas. It's such a good combo. If you play duo queue Senna with an AP champion, you both are farming up, you both get a lot of gold, and fasting Senna, it's just so good. Like, it's just such a good crowd control team comp. And scaling like a truck as well. Jenna, still an amazing enchanter, good peeling. Leona got buffed. I talked about the changes last tier list already. It doesn't, it's a nice buff, but it doesn't change the tier. She's still A tier in my opinion, because she's single target, and it's not that easy to go like, okay, I'm Alice, I'm jumping in, I'm knocking up 5 people every 10 seconds. It's not the same. I'm thinking about moving Galio maybe. I'm thinking about moving Galio. I think, yeah. Galio is very good against AP team comps because he has the magic reduction on his second ability. Decent playmaking with his taunts and ultimate to join team fights. Braum, good against poking compositions thanks to his shield. He has the ultimate as well to peel or to engage. A single target stun. Then Blitzcrank, hit or miss. If you can land some hooks, he's pretty nice. Soraka has some nice healing. Very situational pick because you need frontline. Annie, nice playmaking potential. Weak in the early game. Sona and Seraphine, I would say, actually the support items also buff them, yeah. But they are still very weak in the early game and they need to scale. Shen, cheesy pick. I would say he falls off support though, he doesn't have gold. I mean, yeah, now you have the support item Relic Shield. But I feel like in a lot of matchups you will struggle. And you need gold as a support Shen and as a support set. Because without gold you're not that tanky. Cinch, super cheesy pick, weak in the early game, but scales like a truck. Morgana doesn't provide too much value as a support. Maybe with a mandate right now it can be good, but I don't think so. I think it's okay, but nothing too special. But yeah, that's it for the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed it. Write down below your opinion about this tier list and your opinion about the new items, about the changes, and about the new champions in the comment section. And I see you next time. Bye bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.